So as you can tell by the title of this video, I'm doing a little bit of an experiment. And it's called 40 Days of Showing Up. If you were with me in my last video, I was taking you through this journey inside my own process of how I make myself show up, even whenever I don't want to. And for me and my goals, it's really relevant because I feel really passionate and propelled to affect change in the world in a very specific way, which is through using my voice to speak about things that feel really important to me, if that hasn't been clear for the last 10 years. I know a lot of the videos that I've put out, I've since made private just for my own sanity, because it's a lot to have your 22-year-old self yelling at you about things that are important at the time, and not to discredit or to invalidate those aspects of myself, but I just needed a little bit of peace and feeling like I have some sort of privacy of my process, because I was really unfiltered back then. And I don't think much has changed. It's just I've grown and I've evolved. And so I wanted to offer this to you as well. 40 days of showing up. In the collective sphere right now, there's a lot of cultural things happening. There's Ramadan, there's Lent, and there's obviously the Chinese New Year as well. And I got inspired by a customer that came in and had ash on her forehead, and I didn't know if she knew she had ash on her forehead. And when I asked her about it, she was like, oh yeah, I just came from Lent, like Ash Wednesday or something. And she went on to describe what that is. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. Giving up something and replacing it with something else. And I haven't fully nailed down what I'm giving up, but that's not the moral. That's because I'm not doing Lent. I'm doing my own thing. And so I'm doing 40 days of showing up, and that can look like a lot of different things. But for me, it's like showing up for myself and what I feel like is really important for me in my life, which is to be of service and to practice utilizing and honing in on those skills that I need in order to manifest what I see and have seen for my life for as long as I've been conscious and awake on the path. I feel like I'm here to be a voice for a lot of things that are really important. But it's not about necessarily a lot of things. It's like a lot of those things synthesized down into basic humanity and human rights. And I'm in school right now to be a social worker, and that's what it looks like on paper, but really I'm trying to hone in on the skills and the awareness and the vocabulary necessary to be able to enter public policy and to affect change. And that requires being able to be articulate, and that requires being able to have a coherent stream of thought, and it requires me to be able to be succinct, and a myriad of other skills and qualities. And so I feel really passionate about being an advocate. If you know me at all, if you have come on this channel or followed me along my journey at any point, you probably could pick up on that. And so I have my notes here. This particular video, I'm obviously initiating this experiment, this fun little project. And I wanted to speak directly to anyone out there that has any sort of hesitancy or has struggled with mental health or has face their own demons and struggle to pull themselves out on a regular basis, like, hey, welcome to the club. And I've just been feeling really passionate about, I think it's like a necessary part of being a spiritual being on this planet, that you have to reckon with these demons. You have to reckon with these thoughts, these feelings that are projections, and try to tell you false narratives about yourself. And I think it's by design. I know it's by design, because usually the people with the most light are targeted the most and exploited and manipulated, and we struggle. And I think that that's the point. And I'm not gonna like sit here and give you like a savior or messiah complex, but it's just part and parcel of the job. Welcome to planet Earth. You have a certain amount of light that the forces that be don't want to be expressed. You have a mission. You have written into your life's plan that you came here to offer something, to be of service to humanity in some way. And it is your duty to hold these thoughts captive, hold these projections captive, and continuing to deny them. If you're anything like me, you look at yourself, you look at the flaws, you want to be a better being, you want to grow and psychologically evolve, spiritually evolve. And you can put a lot of pressure on yourself, and you can also be really mean and believing what these projections say. And it's your job and your duty, again, to say fuck off to that. And oftentimes these scripts will get you to try to pay attention to something else to fill the void that you're not aware of. Like, oh, I really want a partner, or I really want this thing or this thing. So I want to focus on that. I'm going to give my energy to that. But what is it you're really here to do? Like, sure, maybe that's a part of your plan. Like, maybe that's a part of your life's journey, but that's not the focus. We're not living a Disney movie from like the 1990s, okay? We're not here to be saved from any other person. We're not here to be living out some Hollywood programming of like your whole mission and purpose is to be in a relationship. We're evolved from that. we're more than that. And so what is it that is really driving you? And it can maybe feel overwhelming at first to like think about the bigger picture, like see the vision and like, how do I get there? Believe me, hello, hi, been there. And I would let that overwhelm like get me spiraling and spinning out, and then not want to try, because how do I get there if I'm here? But God, maturing and evolving and letting life do its thing is a really humbling, grounding experience. And I'm realizing like things take time. And if you would have told me that in my 20s, I would have been really angry to hear that, or to accept it. I knew it, but I just didn't want to accept it. And therefore I just spun my wheels out over and over again and spent a lot of time on things that obviously I needed to spend time on so that I can be here talking to you about this very topic. But y'all, the things that I used to do, the things that I would spend my time and energy on, just like obsessing about, is just hysterical. I really didn't know who I was. Like, I really didn't know my power. I didn't realize how fucking amazing I am. And it's interesting because like in this world, unless you're a narcissistic psychopath, you're not allowed to know who you are and your greatness and to embody and hold that on your heart and have like a sense of self-worth. Like it's just not, it wasn't taught to us to really love ourselves. At least that was my experience. I got a master class on how to not love yourself. And at least growing up and rearing in those years. And as I had more life experiences in my adult life, I was forced. I was forced to have respect for myself, have a different standard of how to relate, because I was operating with myself at a different level because of these experiences. And they forced me to no longer tolerate energy or behavior that wasn't a reflection of that. But I had to go through hell in order to get to that point. Again, like I said in my last video, life forces you to create boundaries. Otherwise, it'll walk all over you, based on your own self-image. So if my self-image was already fractured and I didn't know it, and I was receiving this reflection, this energetic match to reflect back to me what I thought of myself and what I was accepting of life, accepting of people, accepting of relationships, accepting of men, until I was like, what the fuck? I didn't know who I was. I didn't know my value. I didn't know my worth. And so I'm saying all that to say, it's a radical act of defiance on this planet to love yourself and to have a standard, like a certain energetic expectation of like what you're willing to engage with and not, instead of just feeling like you have to. And especially as a female, like there's this collective programming that we're just supposed to help other people feel comfortable, and especially men. And I realized it's just not my job and my responsibility to do that. And there's always nuance here, because I'm talking like in a very superficial way. Like I'm not here to make another man feel comfortable about his own actions or consequences or all of that. And I'm not even trying to speak in polarity. It's just I have a lot of experience with that, and I'm using it as an example. And it's not a divisive tool by any means. I'm just, again, sharing my experience of little snippets of my experience that I will continue to share as food for thought, because all I'm ever doing, it's not to be mean, it's not to be any type of way, it's just to share and to provoke thoughts and feelings and a contemplative effort on your part, because that's the whole point of this. So all of that to say, I'm really excited about this experiment. I'm really excited about sharing it with you. It may not manifest itself as like a video always, or at least just talking at the camera. It might manifest as like me showing you a song that I'm working on, or how I'm designing and scripting a video, or how I'm feeling a certain day. I might cry. Like there's a whole spectrum, but it's all like this anchor is me showing up for myself towards the things that I'm wanting to do, like this goal, this offering. Because as I'm receiving energy from a place higher than Earth, a lot of people call it the ascended realm, in the teachings that I'm a part of, we're receiving light from a higher source. We're receiving energy from a higher source. Otherwise, we would all be dead. And like, okay, so I'm receiving this light and I'm getting this energy, and it's my job and duty to give it out, to give it through my own filter, right? My own being. And now I get to share it. It's almost like the image that I'm getting is like how light goes through a prism, like a pyramid prism. and it reflects. So the light comes in and then the rainbow comes out. That's how I feel. I'm getting like this pure white light energy or whatever. It doesn't have a color. It just is what it is. It's like this waterfall. And it gets to go through me and I get to reflect it out. And it's this like Technicolor rainbow pastel. And that can show up as like a conversation with someone, listening to someone, offering my presence. It can be sharing a song. It can be speaking from my experience. It's amazing in the ways that it can show up. And so what would your life look like? Who would you show up as? How would you be if you put down these negative, targeting projections and just walked upon this earth with a sense of self-assurance that can only really be found truly like nested in the self-secure attachment I feel by the love that I feel from something greater than me. Like when I'm tapped in and I can recognize that I am being loved by this energy that's constantly flowing through me from somewhere greater, I'm just like, fucking watch out, yo. Like, watch out. I get more silly, get more playful. I also feel a lot more peace. And I'm just like, oh, I don't have to do anything. I'm just going to be myself, which is something that I knew and said when I was a little girl. It was like someone asked me, or I don't know, the thought came up of like, who are you going to be when you grow up or whatever? And I was like, I'm going to be myself. I knew who I was. You know who you are. And the world tries to tell you, and all this effort and energy to try to tell you that you're not. So when you have that sense of self-respect, there's a lot of things that you no longer tolerate and will leave your life. To make room, let them leave. Let those things leave to make room for what you're really here to do. Let life move through you. Let the world form and collapse into this version. This version, when I think of quantum mechanics, it's like when you choose, everything collapses around that choice and you go and you move forward. So let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Shine until tomorrow, let it be. So tell me in the comments if you want to, what's one thing that you're going to be doing today that's you saying yes to yourself and saying no to the forces of the lies, the forces of lies, the forces of darkness. I love you. Bye.